Everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. This week's video is dedicated as a refuah shlema for Miriam Bas Sarah Hinda, Nechama Bas Chai Rivka, Shalom Mordechai ben Rachel, and Baruch Yosef Aharon ben Yehudis. May you all have refuah shlema karav. So in this week's Parasha, Haftaras Shoftim, we have two connections to this week's Haftorah. And in the Parasha it says, Ki seitza lemachama alavecha, when you go to wage war against your enemy, and you'll see sus v'rechav, you'll see horses and riders. The Torah says, Lo sira mehem, don't be afraid of them. So the Torah is telling us, don't be afraid of our enemies, because when Hashem is on our side, all these horses and riders to Hashem is like one horse. It's like nothing. It's child's play to Hashem. And in this week's Haftorah, we're taught the same thing. The Navi Yeshaya is trying to encourage us and tell us, don't be afraid of your oppressors. Because you know what your oppressors are? Your oppressors are Mihar Tzoeli Paseach. They're ones that hurry to open up their bowels. They have stomach aches. They're in pain. They hope that they won't die by going down to the grave. And they're also stuck because now they're worried that maybe they won't, that they'll lack for bread. Meaning they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They have to go to the bathroom. Their stomach hurts and they have to empty their bowels. And yet at the same time, they're now worried that they won't have what to eat. Meaning, even if they have food, now they're worried about eating it because they're going to have to go to the bathroom. So the Navi is telling us, the prophet Isaiah is telling us, that who are you afraid of over here? You're afraid of people that are so weak that they have to go to the bathroom. They're weak. They can't control that, and it stinks to high heavens. They have nothing that they can do about it. And they're stuck. They now have to eat again, and they know that this cycle keeps repeating itself. They have no choice. They have to eat. It's not like, oh, I'm all powerful. I don't even have to eat. So who are these enemies that you're afraid of, Hashem says? Who are these oppressors? They're nobody. They can't lift a finger, as our sages say. Nobody can lift a finger unless it's not decreed as such on high. That means the only reason why these decrees are made is because Hashem allows them to be made. And if an oppressor is given permission to attack, it's not because they have intrinsic power or they're some type of major warrior. No, every major warrior, if he eats the wrong thing, or even if he doesn't eat the wrong thing, at one point he's going to need to go to the bathroom, and he's stuck. And these are the people that you're afraid of. Hashem says, you just got to have more trust in Hashem. You have to have more trust in me, Hashem says. And I'm the one that decides whether your oppressor should attack you or not. They're not intrinsically strong. I am intrinsically mighty, says Hashem, and not your oppressors. The second thing that we have to remember is that this week's parasha also exhorts us not to imitate the nations of the world, and to imitate their ways, their corrupt ways. And the verse actually says, Hisori, Hisori, wake up, Kumi Yerushalayim, arise Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. That means eventually the temple, the Jerusalem, is going to be rebuilt. How? Because the people are going to be rebuilt. The people have to rebuild themselves. The people have to awaken themselves from our slumber. You know, we're now in the month of Elul, the month that precedes Rosh Hashanah, the big great day of judgment. And we have to awaken ourselves. We have to wake up. You can't wake up on Rosh Hashanah. You got to wake up way before the day of judgment. You come to court, you can't wake up the day you go to court. You got to start preparing in advance. And the Navi is telling us, wake up, wake up. Now, what's the double expression of wake up? So the first double expression is there's always got to be continuous growth. No matter what level you're on today, you did great. You reached that level, but guess what? Eventually, yesterday's progress is today's regress. And you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You can't look down and look at, be accomplished, feel that you're so accomplished and rest on your laurels what you did yesterday. It's nothing. You got to keep going. The second thing we have to know is you got to awake, in the sense that we have to isolate ourselves for any surroundings that may be of evil influence to us, and also we have to grow spiritually. So that's certainly the job of this month. That's certainly the message that if we want Hashem to rebuild the Beis HaMikdash, we have to rebuild ourselves first. When we rebuild ourselves first, then Jerusalem is promised that Hashem will rebuild it as well, and hopefully will merit to see Jerusalem rebuilt speedily in our days. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next week, God willing.